So, I, 25 female, went out for dinner for my sister-in-law's 28th female bachelorette party this past weekend. Between my sister-in-law and my husband, 26, sister-in-law's always been the family's golden child. Growing up, my in-laws coddled her and gave her everything that she wanted, while my husband always got the crappy end of the stick. She was always the popular girl in school, a cheerleader, and had lots of friends. All the boys loved her, while my husband was always a little nerdier and got picked on quite a bit. Even my in-laws would give him a hard time about this and say he needed to be more like his sister. Well, fast forward to today, both my husband and I went to top schools, got our degrees, and currently have very well-paying jobs in tech. I'm not trying to sound braggy, this is just for context, but we live a very, very comfortable life. Sister-in-law still lives at home with my in-laws, where they foot all of her bills. She had my niece preschooler with her ex and is currently on marriage too. This past weekend, I was invited to this fancy upscale restaurant in my city for my sister-in-law's bachelorette party. She just wanted to do a nice dinner. There were 8 of us in total. At the end of the dinner, the bill comes out and the waiter hands it to me. I'm sitting there confused for a second, until sister-in-law speaks up and is all, "My parents and I were talking and we're thinking you and my brother can handle this bill as a wedding gift, since you're not financially contributing to my wedding." I stared at her, shocked for a moment, and then was like, "And you didn't think to bring this up to me beforehand?" She started saying we're so well off, so what's the big deal? And she's sure her brother wouldn't have an issue with it. I asked her why her fiancé didn't foot the bill or my in-laws, and where in her right mind she thinks it's okay to spring this on me. She started going on about how we're the wealthiest in her and her fiancé's family, and that she didn't think I would act like this. And I'd say yes. I told her, well, sorry, I'm not your parents. Don't expect handouts from me. She called me selfish and I called her an entitled brat, paid for my half of the bill and left. Well, as expected, my mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and even some of the cousins and aunts on my husband's side have been absolutely furious with me and are expecting me to apologize for my comments. I told them over my dead body. My husband is 100% on my side, and we're debating not attending the wedding. I was talking to my mom, and she thinks I took it too far with the comments and should just apologize to keep the peace. Am I the idiot? Info: the bill was close to $1,000 US. What the actual heck? Because you're not contributing to my wedding? In what world does a sibling's wife contribute to a wedding? She sounds insanely entitled, and anyone backing her is delusional. You are not the idiot. Her springing that on you at the end is unconscionable. It'd be one thing, still questionable, if they had approached you privately beforehand to see if you'd throw a dinner for them. It's another thing entirely to surprise you at the end of dinner and expect you to pay for her and 6 of her friends. Even more, she did it publicly. My guess is she wanted to rely on you acquiescing to social pressure to do it without a fuss. Also, she expects a contribution from you for her wedding. If you were her parent, that's one thing. But as a future sister-in-law, that is so wildly entitled on her part, and on the part of the family backing her. Absolutely. I guarantee you were only invited as a setup to try and make you pay. Don't go to the wedding. And I'd honestly consider how much contact you want to maintain with sister-in-law and your in-laws moving forward. It's clear they see you two as nothing but an ATM. I'd have gone with, well, it's nice that you decided that without telling anyone, but I didn't bring my credit cards with me. And then I'd leave. Not to mention, it's a second wedding. Second weddings typically aren't the big frilly to-do that the first weddings are, because second weddings mean been there, done that, return the t-shirt. Also, a lot of second weddings are funded by the couple because they're smaller weddings. This expectation of a handout just blows my mind. Wow, some people. A male 21 went to eat with some college friends at a restaurant near the campus. This place is not the nicest, but it's better food than McDonald's. And we used to go there when we wanted to have a semi-special occasion. This time the occasion was that the 4 of us had passed our exams. It was lunchtime, and the place wasn't completely full, but full enough. We had bad weather, so we sat inside. Everyone did. Most people were adults. Then 2 women, an older and a middle-aged one, came in with a baby and a kid around 7 to 10 years old. I was sitting facing the door, so I saw them walk in, but I didn't think anything of it. I'm not someone easily annoyed by kids most times. They took a table in the corner. Our table was around the middle of the room. We were waiting for our food and chatting. The kid was playing with the baby, and they were making a bit of noise, but then again, we were all making noise, as most of us were accompanied and chatting. After our food came in, though, the kid started to wander around. First, he wanted to read a sign near the door, then one near the back. After that, he wanted to go to the bathroom, then he wanted to go outside, etc. It was kind of annoying, but quite easy to just ignore. Neither of the women that were with him did anything to stop him, not at any time. At some point, the kid started to run around while yelling. He was playing something by himself. He went on, and neither of the women did anything. Other people were looking annoyed too. He even accidentally hit my friend's chair. As we were in the middle table, he started running circles around us. By the third time he tried passing next to me, I put my arm out to stop him. I told him to stop that and sit down, and waited till he's at home to run around, because it's inappropriate to bother other people in a public space. I also told him I'd have him wait outside alone if he doesn't behave, which I was obviously not going to do because I can't, basically. It was just to scare him off. I honestly don't know how it came out. In my mind, I was quite calm, but apparently I was screaming at the kid. The kid started to cry, and then I assume his mom came in and told me off for yelling at him and how he's just a kid and was playing and such. I told her I wouldn't have had to do anything if she had told the kid to stay quiet before. Some guy from the staff came in and asked what had happened. She told him I yelled at the kid. I told him that, yeah, I did, but calmly explained why I did it. He said that we should just let this go for once, and that next time the staff would manage the situation before anything happened. The woman was fuming, so they left. My friends told me that I did in fact scream at this kid, but they were annoyed too and said that they were about to complain to management about the kid. I honestly think that would have been the best idea, and now I think I took the wrong turn here. Your friends told you were screaming at a young child, and you still don't know if you were an idiot? You threatened him with being left outside all alone, until he cried, and you still don't know if you were an idiot? Unbelievably, dude. You are the idiot. Just complain to deal with it next time. That's not how this works at all. Mom was an idiot first because she let her child run around a restaurant annoying other people. Mom was negligent, making her an idiot. Not excusing OP, but you're implying the mother's not wrong. Definitely everyone's the idiot here situation, and I have to say, kids are little idiots. It's a parent's job to make sure their little idiot learns how to not be a full-grown idiot. Anyone who disagrees or says you can't call a kid an idiot is the one whose kid grows up to be the mother in this situation. Nope, the kid's mom was negligent, but OP took it out on her child, not her. That takes it straight into you are the idiot territory for me. He had a horrible reaction, and he took it out on a kid who apparently hadn't been taught better yet, instead of the adult responsible for him. OP, by your friend's admission, you overstepped your bounds in a big way. Learn to control your behavior before you presume to dictate the same to a child. My older brother's getting married in 2 months. His fiance's family's paying for the whole wedding, and they'll have it in the Bahamas. They planned a small wedding of 60 guests. The only person from our family he invited was our mom. This was obviously a little upsetting for my siblings and me, but we understood. We have a large family. My mom has 7 kids and 8 siblings. You can't have a small wedding if you invite your large family, and it becomes more complicated when you start picking and choosing who can come. So, there are no hard feelings with him just deciding to have our mom there. The problem is, my mom doesn't want to go alone, for a few reasons. She's never flown before, or left the country. She's very nervous about this aspect alone. She will also not know anybody at the wedding other than my brother. She's met his fiance's parents and siblings, but it was awkward, and there's not a great relationship there. Her family's very rich, and our family's the opposite. As a result, there's a large cultural difference, and my brother's future mother-in-law said a few things that upset my mom, although I don't think she meant harm. Because of all this, my mom asked my brother if she could bring her partner of 5 years. My brother denied this. My mom assumed he had an issue with her bringing her partner specifically, and then later asked if she could bring her sister to stay in her room, not even to the wedding or reception, but to the hotel, so she didn't have to travel alone, and had someone to stay with her, as she would be in the country for 5 days. She said she'd find a way to cover the extra cost. He, again, denied her. At this point, because my mom is upset about the whole thing, She was upset originally about none of our family being invited to the wedding. She's now even more upset, as she's actually scared about traveling and staying in another country alone. I want to confront my brother about this, but my mom has told me not to. Nobody's asking him to invite anyone else to the wedding. I just want him to allow my mom to have a plus one, so she's not all alone for a week. My uncle has already said if he doesn't allow her a guest, he'll fly down there with her and find a cheap hotel for the week. I respect that it's my brother's wedding and I shouldn't interfere, but I think he's being an idiot to our mom and refusing to listen to her fears about going alone. Am I the idiot if I bring it up again and try to pressure him into allowing her to bring my aunt? Edit. My mom's trying to get his permission to bring someone to the hotel because all the food, etc. are included, and the bride's family is paying, so she would have to organize paying him back. They're hosting a wedding. Only invite the groom's mom, but don't give her a plus one, and expect to be paid back for the cost of food if the plus one attends? How hard is that to do? Do they not accept cash, check, PayPal, Venmo, or Cash App? There's absolutely something else going on here. There were 60 guests, but only one from the groom's side? Come on, you can't be that blind. Out of the entire guest list, the only person on your brother's side of the family is your mom? I just want to be clear that I'm reading this correctly, and your brother is so adamant about no one else even helping his own mother. It sounds like he's trying to cut you all out of his life, or his bride is trying to cut you out of his life. This isn't your brother's marriage. This is his wife's fancy wedding. Exactly this. There's certainly something going on here. This sounds like something other than a positive start to married life. I would ask your brother how he feels about only being allowed to have his mom present, and if he's happy about this. Not telling him off, but I think you should be concerned about this. The wedding is in the Bahamas, and the OP clearly said that they are not well off. They don't want to invite any of these peasants would be my guess. They just invited mom to not come off as complete idiots, and failed anyway. Understandably, 8 people is a lot, but there isn't any reason why she can't have a plus one. They invited 60 people from their own side. OP, stay out of it, except to encourage mom to be comfortable saying no. This won't work for me. The brother and his new family sound like total idiots. My husband used to get along with my family until my sister falsely accused him of cheating on me. He understandably doesn't like her anymore, but he's usually civil toward her. My sister recently announced her engagement, and while everybody congratulated her, my husband turned to her fiancé and said, "Good luck. You'll need it marrying her." I was shocked he would say something like that, especially in front of my parents, but I never said anything, as I didn't want to fight with him in front of everybody. However, my sister kept giving me a look like she expected me to say something, and when I didn't, she yelled at him herself. I made us leave because I could see us being there wasn't helping the situation. My sister's been texting me about what happened, mostly to take digs at my husband. She gets angry whenever I ask her to stop, and thinks I'm siding with him when he's wrong. Things have worsened after I told her that I wouldn't be going wedding dress shopping with her, and she's blaming my husband for that too. She sent him some messages directly, and he fanned the flames by saying he wouldn't let me go, and she'd be lucky if we even attended the wedding. I've spoken to my husband and asked him to stop making things worse. He has agreed to stop responding to her, but she wants me to make him apologize and agree to visit when she wants to go wedding dress shopping, to prove that I'm not siding with him, which I can't do. Am I the idiot? Edit about her accusing him. My sister was staying with us for a while, and she thought it was weird that my husband wasn't home that often, and that he was always on his phone or on his laptop, so she was convinced he was cheating. I told her repeatedly that he wasn't, and that he was working, but she wouldn't let it go. She tried to prove it by taking pictures of him with, or kissing his female friend's cheek, but I told her they didn't prove anything. She thought I was in denial, so she sent them to our family, because she thought that they would talk some sense into me, but it's just caused unnecessary drama. She's never apologized to him directly. Wow. She made a concerted effort to turn your entire family against him, because he was out of the house and on his phone and computer? Her fiancé ought to be forewarned specifically of that behavior, not just vaguely in a potentially humorous context. I've seen such false accusations tear a marriage apart, so it's great that you have proper trust in your husband over your drama-seeking sister. I think your husband is a bit of an idiot for behaving in a way that leads to headaches for you. But what's described here isn't some overblown revenge on your husband's part. Here's the key. She tried to prove it. This means she purposefully sought to catch your husband in the act of infidelity and waited to take a picture, right? Any one of us could kiss a friend on the cheek, but by the time someone else could think to get their phone out, the moment would be over. So, your sister actively went looking for something to prove her case, which means she had to follow him somehow. That's just creepy. This is toxic. Your husband should never have to be in the same room with her again, even if she were to apologize. Her actions can never be undone, and the damage to his reputation is irrevocable. Whether or not you decide to participate in the wedding is up to you. But if someone did that to my husband, I cut them off. I'm loyal that way. Yeah, she falsely accused him of cheating, and she wants an apology? I agree with him. Good luck to her fiancé. Unfortunately, he's marrying a two-faced liar. Honestly, I think it's incredibly rude to your husband that you still associate with your sister at all. My wife and I, and another couple, play sand volleyball often, something we play a few times a month. Today, we went to the local public court, and a guy and his German Shepherd were playing in the sand. It's clear we were there to use the court, but the guy wasn't moving. So, I went up to him and asked if we could play on the field directly next to the court. He says no, his dog has hip issues, and the sand is better for him to move around, and isn't as hard on his hip. I'm just like, this court is for sand volleyball, not for dogs to play poop and pee in. Can you please move? He's clearly getting annoyed and mad at me, and we argue for a bit. He eventually leaves. I don't think I was the idiot, but he said I hurt his dog, and it's a public court that anyone can use, and I could have been more patient. It is a volleyball court, sand, net in the middle, pretty much designated space to play volleyball barefoot. The expectation is that you will not be doing that, nor diving, and dog pee and poop. Sorry about the dog's hips, but nope, not the idiot. Was the German Shepherd playing volleyball? I guess not. Since this is a dedicated beach volleyball court, he was an idiot for having his dog there. He should find a dog park with sand, or at least use beach areas that are not explicitly dedicated to a particular purpose. That's called entitlement. When you think you can stand there and stop people from using something for a specific purpose, and they aren't using it for that purpose, you suck. Because even though he was on the volleyball court not playing volleyball, he was there first, and it is a public space. It sucks to be you, but it is first come first served, and he has as much right to be there and use it for a reasonable amount of time as you. I think it's fine for the court to be utilized by the disabled dog to play when no one's using it for volleyball, so your statement was incorrect. If you waited 20 minutes, the guy and his dog would be gone. I agree with you. I'm pretty sure that other animals have used it as a pit. If there's any wildlife in the area, or stray or feral cats, then it would have been used as a waste pit by them at some point. So, even without dogs being there, the players are probably still diving into a turd. OP, you don't own the court. It's a public park. Therefore, he is allowed to use that area just as much as you.